Hey, what's going on, guys? It seems that our biggest fears are essentially confirmed. The UFC is targeting the main event of UFC Noche. I can't believe I'm even saying this. Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez 2 for the featherweight title in a complete and utter disgrace of the sport. Now, I have to be very clear with you guys. This is not official. This is not confirmed. But all the evidence is pointing to an Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez 2 title fight at UFC Noche in one of the most blatant displays of racism I have ever seen in the UFC. And honestly, the sport's just straight up ruined. It's straight up ruined. I mean, I'm disgusted. And one of the reasons I want to make this video before it's officially confirmed, in hopes that we can maybe, just maybe, make enough noise, enough people complain, because really there's nobody that wants to see this. Maybe enough of the fan base can complain and whine and bitch, and there's enough backlash that maybe, just maybe, the UFC decides to change course, because this is a complete and utter disgrace. We're going to look at some tweets from Mavsar, who is the uncrowned champion at this point. Movsar Evloev, uncrowned featherweight champion. We're actually going to look at a very important clip from a recent Ali Abdelaziz interview, who is the manager of Mavsar. We're going to look at what Volkanovski had recently said after he won the title at UFC 314, as well as a Yair Rodriguez clip from a recent interview as well. But let's just jump right into it, because there's a lot to discuss. This is what we have from Mavsar Evloev. You are a fighter and believe you are the best in the world. And when you have fight, every fight they throw at you, no risk, no reward. See you guys in July. It's on hashtag Abu Dhabi. So clearly he's fighting in Abu Dhabi, which is a fight night in July. And then he tweeted out at Alexander Volkanovski, "Thank you, champ, for trying to fight me. I will fight in July and you fight in September. Hopefully we both win and we can meet in December." What a joke this is. And this is the rumor that's been swirling for a couple weeks now, that the UFC is targeting Volkanovski versus Rodriguez 2, because September is UFC 320, which is UFC Noche, which is in Guadalajara, Mexico. Okay? All right? It's not a club in Mexico at 53 years old where we slap our wives. It's Guadalajara, Mexico. They're holding a pay-per-view event, UFC Noche. So the UFC is like, you know what? Who are we going to give a title shot to? Let's give a title shot to Yair Rodriguez, and let's make Mavsar fight more contenders, even though Mavsar is undefeated on a crazy winning streak against the elite of the elite in the division. He has earned the title shot for probably over a year by now. We've already given Diego Lopez a title shot, who Mavsar beat. And now we're going to skip him again for Yair Rodriguez. I mean, does this get any more disgraceful, guys? Does this get any more disgraceful? First off, Yair Rodriguez. He's on a one-fight winning streak. I'm so fed up, guys. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm really fed up. It's really making me hate the sport. One-fight win streak against Patricio Pitbull, where he won not the greatest decision. He looked good, but it wasn't the greatest performance ever. And we're going to talk about Patricio Pitbull in a second. You guys can call me a casual, even though I'm not. Before that, he got dog walked and submitted by an injured Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega, if you watch my channel at all, you know that I think he's a complete scrub and has been squatting on his ranking for years. He lost to Brian Ortega. And if that isn't bad enough, he already fought Volkanovski in July of 2023, where he got dominated and finished, and then in the third round was TKO'd. So this is a rematch of a fight. Since that fight, Yair has one win against an unranked featherweight. And I know there's going to be some people, "Joey, you don't follow the sport. Patricio Pitbull, man, he's a former champion." Patricio Pitbull came to the UFC washed up. Don't believe me? You're the casual. Here's Patricio Pitbull's most recent resume. He's 1-3 in his last 4 fights with one win over Jeremy Kennedy. Lost to Yair, lost in Ryzen, lost to Sergio Pettis. I mean, this is insanity. Has one win since 2022. Since the end of 2022, he has one win. One win against Jeremy Kennedy, who's not good. Yair now beats this unranked, washed-up 40-year-old Patricio Pitbull. He's not actually 40 years old. He's 37, about to turn 38. He was an elite-level fighter at one point. He's still a decent fighter. I'm happy to have him in the UFC. He's not the elite of the elite anymore. He was at one point in time. Yair beats this guy, and now he's getting a title shot against a guy he already lost to and got dominated and finished by, all because he's of Mexican descent. I mean, what's going on here? What are we doing? I mean, this is insane. This guy right here, who's lost 2 out of his last 3, was dominated by the guy he's about to fight again, is getting a title shot over this guy. I mean, this guy is what? What is his overall record? 19-0. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. 19-0. Win over Aljamain Sterling. By the way, amazing, exciting matchup. Exciting fight. Arnold Allen, top 10 ranked guy. By the way, amazing, exciting matchup. One of the best fights on UFC 297, which was absolute dog shit. Beat Diego Lopez, the guy who just fought for the belt. Beat Dan Ige, who is super underrated, and especially at this point in time, 3 years ago, a very good fighter, closer to his prime. So look at all these great wins, undefeated, and we're giving this guy a title shot instead. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, look at the rankings right now. Let's take a look at the rankings. So Mavsar Evloev has a win over number 2, has a win over number 6, has a win over number 9. I mean, has a win over number 14. And let's be real, the guy Brian Ortega, who washed Yair Rodriguez not that long ago, would get absolutely washed by Mavsar Evloev. Let's be very clear there. And instead, we're giving it to Yair, who literally lost to number 7 Brian Ortega. And by the way, these rankings are so cockamamie. I mean, talk about the UFC being a fly-by-night company. Ilia Topuria is number 3 in the featherweight rankings. Why wouldn't he be completely removed? Why would he be behind Diego Lopez and Max Holloway? Makes zero sense. So this is the ultimate fake belt because Volkanovski really shouldn't even be champion. Okay, fair enough. Topuria left the division. They gave Lopez a fake title shot. Lopez didn't deserve a title shot. Already skipped over Mavsar. And now we're going to give Yair a fake title shot, all because he is of Mexican descent. I don't know. I guess, I mean, is that not racism at its finest? Yair Rodriguez is getting a title shot because he's Mexican. I don't think that's all that controversial to say. Maybe it will be, and I don't realize it yet until I put out this video. He's getting a title shot because he's Mexican. Think about how fucking stupid that is. We are choosing title contenders based on the geographical location of the venue that the fight is taking place. We're like, oh, pay-per-view in Mexico? Let's see if we can find a Mexican fighter to put him up for the title. Can it get any more WWE? And there are people justifying this. Case in point, Aaron Bronstetter. I actually like Aaron Bronstetter. This isn't no hate on him. Every time I talk about somebody, it seems like everyone's like, you're hating on him. You're hating on this guy. You're hating on that guy. Lots of griping about a potential Volk versus Yair fight, but ultimately Holloway and Topuria are no longer in the division. Volk just beat Diego, and while Mavsar should be next, having a Mexican title challenger for Noche makes sense from a promotional standpoint. No, it doesn't. We're giving fake-ass title shots just because the dude's Mexican? How does that... It makes no sense. From a promotional standpoint, the UFC has advertised themselves as, oh, this is where the best fight the best. But instead we got this bullshit, dog shit, fly-by-night company where Dana White's so checked out, all he does is give, promotion to Power Slap and bull riding. And now we're like, oh, Yair Rodriguez, he's Mexican. Mexico event? Mexican fighter? Who cares if he doesn't have any good wins? Who cares if he's already fought the champion and lost and got dominated? Let's give him another shot, and people are justifying this. I mean, people are really justifying. I mean, this is a disgrace. I even responded to this, and of course, it doesn't even show up here. How does that not show up here? I responded to this tweet. I'll show you guys that in a second. But I'll show you this tweet from me. Dagestani privilege is going on a double-digit win streak and still being denied a title shot because the UFC is a joke. The fans cheer it on because they're xenophobic and anti-Muslim. Mavsar is the uncrowned champ of uncrowned featherweight champion. I'm butchering reading my own tweet. Now, this is a bit salacious here. If any fans, the point of this tweet, I don't think there's going to be a lot of fans defending this. I don't think anybody wants Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez 2. If you are, I am convinced you just hate any fighter from the Caucasus region or any Muslim fighters. Now, granted, Mavsar is not technically Dagestani, but if you're from the Caucasus region, all the fans, they say, oh, you're a Dagestani fighter, no matter what. You know, it doesn't matter. If you're from the Caucasus region, you're lumped in with the Dagestani fan base. If you are justifying it, which again, I don't want to make up a made-up argument. I haven't really seen that many people defending it. But if you are defending it, I am convinced you are one of these fans who hate fighters based on the region of the world they are from or because of their religion. But again, I haven't seen a lot of that. I just put this out there really to piss a lot of people off because these people push Dagestani privilege narratives. I've debunked it so many times. Where's the Dagestani privilege for Movsar Evloev? Where was the Dagestani privilege for Magomed Ankalaev, who's now being ducked by Alex Pereira? Where's that Dagestani privilege? Also, the tweet justifying it from Aaron Bronstetter. Again, I don't hate Aaron Bronstetter or anything. I posted this. This type of whitewashing the UFC's abhorrent behavior makes me sick. People are normalizing giving out title shots based on geographical location of the event. Listen, guys, I've been yelling it from the rooftops for like 3 years now. It is a slippery slope, and it's only getting worse and worse and worse. Last year, we got like 80% undeserved title shots. This year, I mean, look at this year already. Sean Strickland got an undeserved title fight against Dricus du Plessis. Complete and utter disgrace. Look what's coming up at UFC 316. Merab Dvalishvili, Sean O'Malley 2. What has Sean O'Malley done? Look at last year, Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. The list goes on and on and on. I even put out a little tweet about it too. I'll scroll down and show you guys that real quick. Pereira Roundtree, DDP Strickland 2, Volk Lopez, Merab O'Malley. Already named most of those. Now the UFC's making Volk Yair 2 at UFC Noche. What a fucking joke. The sport is WWE. It's the UFC painting themselves into a corner because they are so fucking lazy promotionally. They don't want to actually promote any event. They're like, we go to Mexico, Mexican fighter, pluck him off the street, throw him in the main event. We don't give a fuck. It's so annoying. We are literally giving title shots based on your ethnicity, based on your nationality, because that's where we're going. I don't understand. If the UFC ever comes to Alaska, I better be getting a heavyweight title shot. Otherwise, I'm raising hell. This has become a fly-by-night company. This is the crapification of the UFC. They don't care anymore. The quality is so degraded, all because they just care about, okay, let's just keep the money pumping in. We need to sell tickets to the audience, overpriced tickets. We're going to Mexico, so let's give Yair Rodriguez a title fight. And again, this isn't officially confirmed. What you guys need to do, everyone needs to bitch and moan and be vocal. Every IG post from the UFC, if they do announce this, everyone needs to revolt against it. We need to hope and pray there's enough backlash that the UFC backs out of making this fight. They don't need this. UFC Noche last year was Merab versus O'Malley 1. There wasn't a Mexican in the main event there. And what pisses me off is they could have easily just done co-main event Yair Rodriguez versus Diego Lopez and promoted it off that beef at the press conference, which to me even shows me even more they were praying Diego Lopez would win and then give Yair Rodriguez a title shot, which we're going to look at a clip from Yair Rodriguez in a second. They could have put that as the co-main event. They could have stacked the card with a bunch of Mexican fighters and then still had Alexander Volkanovski Mavsar main event. It would have been perfectly fine. What pisses me off even more about this super undeserved title shot of Yair Rodriguez, who's 1-2 in his last 3 fights, got dog walked by Brian Ortega and finished, is the fact that Volkanovski wanted to fight Mavsar. This is a clip at the UFC 314 presser, and you can see Volk must have had some information or talked to Yair or talked to somebody with the UFC, because you can see, oh, I didn't think Yair would ever get a title shot, but maybe he will. Listen to this here.
You get a good performance, all right, you might get the shot. With Yair, I hear that he was saying get the title shot. Look, he's a good dude. I like him a lot. If the UFC want to give it to him, I ain't gonna stop I ain't gonna stop that for him.
If the UFC wants to give it to him, he obviously heard something backstage after the event, but then look, he says, look, I want to take Mavsar's out.
But yeah, I'll be honest, I did before that fight. I didn't think if he won, he would be getting a shot. Like, I'll be honest, that didn't come to my mind. But now that he's calling, like, I'm not going to be the one to say no. But, I'm going to leave everything to the UFC. Obviously, you've got guys like Mavsar, who's undefeated. I'd love to take that 0. You know what I mean? Like, we've got to see what the UFC say. I heard, I've seen him trying to get other fights. I don't know, is that right? Like,
there was rumors that he was going to fight Pico.
But I even seen him tweeting that he wants to fight someone in May and doing all this sort of stuff.
Because Mavsar wanted to fight again instead of waiting out for a title fight, but the UFC tried to push it back even further. So then he said, well, I'll just wait to see what happens in the title fight because I'm already the rightful #1 contender. But now they've done him dirty again. The fact that we may have to wait till December to see Mavsar fight for the title is a disgrace. And I believe, most likely, if he's fighting in July, I think they're going to make him fight Aaron Pico. Which, Aaron Pico is a guy they brought over from Bellator who kind of has that NCAA background, that Bo Nickel curl up into a ball and quit like a bitch background. Now, Aaron Pico is very talented, but I think he's a bit overrated coming into the UFC, and I think Mavsar will most likely beat him. But they're looking at Pico's wrestling credentials, and they're thinking maybe he can beat Mavsar. We kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We promote Pico. Mavsar loses. We probably give Pico an undeserved title shot, or I guess if he beats Mavsar, he would kind of deserve it. But it's crazy because Volkanovski was campaigning. I want the undefeated prospect, #1 contender, the rightful #1 contender in Movsar Evloev. But the UFC wants Yair instead. And you can tell he's like, well, I didn't think before the fight. Then you also, and I featured this clip in another video, Yair telling Ariel Helwani, well, look, the UFC told me I only needed 1 win. Listen to this.
Just curious, obviously you know about Mavsar and the streak that he's on. What do you say to someone who says he's won 9 in a row, he should get a crack at the belt first?
Man, I don't know. The only thing that I can tell you is that a fight against Volkanovski makes sense for me. I don't want to talk about like Mavsar or whatever. He's an incredible fighter. He's a dangerous opponent, and he's coming from a win streak, Now, what I hear from the UFC, you only have to come from a win, and Volkanovski and I had a background fighting, for the belt. I wasn't able to come with a win, but this time I'm pretty sure I will be able to come with a win.
What a fucking joke. This dude has won 1 fight. 1 fight in a row. Mavsar has 19 in a row, undefeated. 9 in a row in the UFC. Has fought tough top contender after top contender after top contender, and has been an entertaining fight after entertaining fight, despite what the Dagestani Caucasus region haters say, Mavsar is boring. They don't watch fights. They're casuals. If you didn't enjoy Mavsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling, you're a casual dumb bitch. Go fuck yourself. Okay? I'm so tired of people like, man, he's a decision machine. Oh my God, it's decisions. If you didn't enjoy this Sterling fight at UFC 310, you're crazy. The Arnold Allen fight was better than Strickland Duplessis. By the way, Strickland goes out there in the undeserved rematch and fights like a literal bitch, refuses to fight, and then Dana White praises him afterwards. Meanwhile, I didn't see people complaining about Strickland being a decision merchant. That's all Strickland does, boring ass decisions, not entertaining decisions. And then lastly, I want to show you a clip from a recent interview Ali Abdelaziz did with Submissive Radio, where he said, look, Mavsar's earned a title shot, but it's looking like he's going to have to fight 1 more. Listen to this.
With Mavsar, are we close to a fight announcement?
Yes. I win. Islam Makhachev, I think, take 10 fights before it's fought for the title. Habib is 9. These type of guys, it would take him a long. I just beginning manager Mavsar, right? Mm-hmm. And I have a road plan for him to fight for the title. And I have the experience with guys like Islam and Habib and Balal, who will take the long way to become a champion, right? And, Mavsar, listen, he's maybe Alexander Volkanovski's, I don't know how much juice he have, but he's keep talking about it, right? There's no other rightful contender than Mavsar. It doesn't even exist.
Facts. Diego Lopez did not deserve it more than Mavsar. He's already been skipped once. Now he's going to be skipped again. There's no other rightful number one contender. Volkanovski wants it, which makes it even more disturbing. So the champion wants to fight the rightful number one contender, but instead we're giving out a title shot based on ethnicity, based on nationality, based on race, whatever you want to call it. Okay? That's what we're doing instead. What a fucking joke.
Yeah, what's Lopez? He beat him. He just fought for the title. Allen, he beat him. Aljamain, he beat him. He had beaten everyone he's given to you. I think it's unfair. I think it's unjust. But guess what? It's a business. And if he have to fight 10 more guys, he will do it. There's no problem. It is what it is. And I think the fan have to speak up and for him, because he doesn't speak up for himself, and we all have to do, because
you're his manager. You need to speak up for him, but so do the fans as well. I mean, it's just, how are we accepting this? I thought Ali's supposed to be buddies with the UFC. He needs to get on their ass. What is going on? They need to make this.
Have to be a system. If you win, you get what you deserve, and he earned it. Listen, I will be shocked if you didn't get the title shot after one more win.
All right, guys.
So basically, and then he goes into a little ad. So basically, he's saying one more win, aka the July fight that Mavsar's talking about here. Meanwhile, Volkanovski in September, which again, UFC Noche in September 13th, and then he's going to get a title shot. So the UFC's probably told Ali, well, we need Yair for the Noche event, and then Mavsar can fight Pico, and if Mavsar wins that, we'll finally give him his title shot, even though he's essentially been the uncrowned champ for years. What more can I say about this guy? I really don't know what to tell you. I'm disgusted recording this video. The UFC's a complete disgrace. Well, every fight's dog shit. Every title fight's dog shit nowadays outside of DDP Khamzat Chimaev. What are we doing? The UFC is such a fly-by-night company. They don't know their own ass from a hole in the ground. They don't plan things out well anymore. And now we have people justifying it. The media is letting it slide. Some fans, not a lot of them just yet. We have to wait and see. I have to see more reaction from this. They've defended matchmaking like this. They defended Khalil Roundtree getting a title shot. They defended so many undeserved title shots. They campaigned for Sean Strickland to get an undeserved title shot over Khamzat Chimaev, who ragdolled and victimized Robert Whittaker. They said, oh no, Sean Strickland ducked everyone under the sun, never even earned his first title shot, beat up a drunk Izzy, and he gets a second undeserved title shot. The fans have consistently defended this type of disgusting and despicable matchmaking, and it's ruining the sport. We have to hold them accountable. Everyone has to criticize them for it over and over and over. We need as much criticism as there was on UFC 300 last year before they even announced the event. There needs to be that type of criticism. People need to back up actual legit number one contenders. Doesn't matter if they're Dagestani. Doesn't matter if it's Mavsar or it's Strickland or it's Adesanya or whoever it may be, Islam Makhachev or Ilia Topuria. If they are the rightful number one contender and they're on a long winning streak, we should not be debating whether or not shit fighters like Yair Rodriguez, well, not shit fighters, it's a bit of getting a bit hyperbolic, but a guy who's 1-2 in his last 3 with 1 win over an unranked featherweight, we're going to justify that guy getting a shot just because they're going to Mexico. That is a complete disgrace. It is an embarrassment. And UFC Noche can be built otherwise. How can they not do a co-main event? Diego Lopez, Yair Rodriguez. That would sell the event very, very well. Stack the rest of the card with Mexicans. That sounds funny. Stack the rest of the card with Mexicans if you want. But don't give out a title shot just because a fighter is Mexican with no actual merit. Talk about a complete disgrace. Movsar Evloev needs to be next for Alexander Volkanovski. I'm praying to the MMA gods this does not become confirmed. But by the day, it's looking more and more realistic that we're getting Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez 2 for the featherweight title at UFC Noche. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video as well. I would greatly appreciate it. And please criticize the UFC on every social media platform possible. They need to hear the backlash from this. Because if it, you know, Mavsar may not be one of your favorite fighters, but one of these days it will happen to one of your favorite fighters. We need to criticize them for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.